Hey, how's it going, guys? So I know it's been about a month since I put out my last video, but I was kind of busy playing BNS NEO and really just putting a lot of time into the game, doing all the content in the game, getting to some pretty good gear, 700 AP, good crit rate, crit damage. I've done a lot of playing the game recently for the past month. I've done all the content. So now it can kind of form a really good review of the game and kind of the issues I feel like that are really affecting the health of the game and will really hurt it long term, and also some of the pros, of course. So I'm going to break it down into like a pros and cons video, kind of like the things I like and the things I don't like, and just kind of share my thoughts, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the video and kind of see if it's maybe worth playing BNS NEO or not for you. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and let's jump into it. So really what I want to highlight is the biggest issues of BNS NEO, because these are the things that I feel like are really hurting the game the most. Number one thing that I really dislike about the game is the skill boot system. So in BNS NEO, they changed it from original BNS, where essentially to get certain skills and to play different specs, you have to have certain skill books. For example, if I want to play this heart stab build, I need the blue skill book, and I actually have two of them currently. So one of the issues with BNS is that it locks you behind playing different specializations of your class if you don't have the right skill books, and a lot of these skill books are very expensive to acquire, or you have to get insanely lucky to get them to drop. A really good example is I've settled with playing this shadow spec of assassin because lightning spec is unattainable. Essentially right now, like electro pierce is how you would play lightning assassin. This is a great example. The cheapest one on the market is over 5,000 NC coin, which is roughly $50. Now for the past month, this was actually over 10,000 and recently it just dropped, but it still is very expensive. So for the past month, it was actually over $100, which is insane, just to play a different version of the class I want to play. So in original BNS, this system was way better because if I wanted to play shadow assassin or lightning assassin, I could literally just change my skills and play whatever spec I want to play depending on the playstyle I liked. Where in BNS NEO is very restrictive. If I want to play a lightning assassin build, I have to somehow get electro pierce for 5,000 NC coin. If I don't get that blue book, I literally can't play the spec. So this makes it very restrictive when you're trying to play BNS NEO, and for a lot of classes it's thousands of NC coin just to play your class at a decent level because you need those certain skill books, and they're gated behind a lot of RNG. Now if you maybe never played original BNS, this system might not bug you as much, but for me, BNS original played way better. The system was way more easier to change. You could play whatever spec you want. You didn't have to get some dumb skill books to actually play your class correctly. So for me, it's like I'm literally playing BNS NEO, which is almost 10 years after the BNS release in the West in 2016. And it's a worse version of the original BNS. Personally, I think they should have never added this type of system, and a lot of people have already quit the game because they couldn't even get the skill books they needed to play their class correctly. And other classes, like, it varies. Some classes, their skill books aren't that expensive and they can play at a decent level. Some classes, they need thousands and thousands of NC coin to play their class correctly. So it's just a really restrictive system, and really like the best way you can get skill books right now, which is really ridiculous. And this is another issue I'll talk about, is the RNG is insane in BNS NEO. One of the main like endgame things you can do right now is spam bad bug raid. And what this does is you usually get 2 to 3 green skill books when you defeat the boss. They're very quick runs, like 5 to 10 minutes max. And when you salvage the green skill books that you get from the dungeon that you run, you get these fragments right here. Then you go to transmute, and then you go right here, and you transmute it to try to get a skill book. This is like the main way you try to get your skill books and actually make some money in BNS NEO. The problem is the RNG is so terrible in the system. If you look right here, it's only a 20% chance to get a blue book. So you need 20 fragments to get a chance at a 20% rate to get a blue book. So you're spamming this bug rate over and over and over just to get a chance to get a 20% chance to get a blue book. Most of the time, 80% of the time, you're getting a green book back. It's just very, very tedious, and the reward is really terrible. And then, even if you get the blue book chest, which is only 20% rate, which is insane, it's so low. Even if you get it, you don't even get to pick the skill you want. It's all random again. So you might get a skill that you don't even care about or don't even use for your class. So it's like, on top of that, even if you get the blue book, it still sucks. And really the only benefit of that is, like, let's say like I got this one right here from the blue chest. I sold on the marketplace for 350 NC coin, or another one right here I sold for 300 for landmine knockdown. You have to be insanely lucky, and I want to play electro pierce, I want to play lightning assassin for me, but I'm not going to spend $50, $100 on this game just to get that skill. It's very annoying. Let's just see right now if I'm lucky in this video. Let's see if I could get it. Okay, I got a green boat bat. Yeah, dream book back. Yeah. So that's basically how it works. You get your dream book, and then you just do this again. This is the endgame content right now. You do this, and then you gotta go farm the raid again. Hopefully, you get a chance to get your blue book. It feels so terrible. It feels like such a waste of time, dude. So that's really the biggest issue for me is the skill book system. It's literally a worse version of Blade and Soul's original skill system, which is crazy to think about. And they're not gonna get rid of it now. It's too deeply enrooted into the game. They're not gonna change that. The only thing I would say, the really main benefit is literally just increase the RNG rate and let us select the chest skill that we want. That would literally solve everything. Like, if they would allow you when you transmute this to get this book, let's say they increase the chance to like 40%. 40% I could do. That's not too bad. Like 60% green, 40% blue, that's all right. Or even like 50-50, that would be all right to me. Still not amazing, but if they want to have their RNG, that's fine. But then you get the blue chest, you should be able to select whatever skill you want. It would literally solve all these issues. This is the biggest issues with BNS NEO, is that they just, little quality changes would make the game so much better, but they just don't do it. Now, talking about the transmuting the steelbook fragments kind of leads me into my next biggest issue with BNS NEO. The RNG is insane in this game. So, like, most MMORPGs, every MMO has RNG. You know, you do a boss, you kill the boss in the dungeon, it has a chance to drop the gear that you want. That's completely normal. The problem is with this game is that there's so much RNG. Like, if you started 2 players starting the game at the same time, they play the same amount of hours, they did the same dungeons and content, one of them would be vastly better geared than the other simply because of their luck. They would get a better weapon upgrade on their skills. They would get like a soul core slot, or they would get an accessory that has crit damage instead of block or something. And so what I mean by this is, like, the game is so RNG based that it just makes it really miserable to play because you're constantly getting stuff you don't want. For example, we just look at a Siren Dagger. You'll see under the 230 attack power, there's different stats. So this one has 96 crit damage. This one has 104 piercing. This one has 54 crit. This one says can be socketed with soul core. Some of them don't have that. The problem is, like, there's so much RNG because these weapons, like, some of them are totally terrible. Like, you would never want one that doesn't have crit. You need the crit and you need the soul core slot. Some of these are completely useless. Like, for example, like, if you don't have the soul core slot, you're literally losing out on 32 plus AP. Like, all of them have like 30 plus AP, which is crazy if you don't have it. And then if you don't have the crit damage or crit rate, you're not going to be doing much DPS because those are the main factors of how much damage you do when you're critting your skills. So everyone just wants these accessories that have some type of crit rate or crit damage on them. If they don't have that, they suck. And then we haven't even talked about everything is RNG upgrades. So let's, for example, say I want to upgrade my Siren Earring. There's a chance it can actually fail. They do have a pity system, but honestly the rate's terrible because look at me right here. I failed like 2 or 3 times already, and every time you fail, you just lose out on everything you just spent. So it's just like literally a waste of time. The funny part is in original Blade and Soul, they didn't have RNG upgrades like this. Like, once you had the material and you did the upgrade, you guaranteed always got it. And the main factor why I chose Blade and Soul over Black Desert Online during when they first came out in 2016 together in that same year, I chose Blade and Soul because I was like, I don't want to deal with RNG upgrades. Like, I hate the fact that you can fail your upgrades. This is ridiculous and lose everything you just used on it. And then funny enough, the Blade and Soul Neo remaster has RNG upgrades, so it's like I can't escape it. There's a really funny Reddit post that I saved a while ago where this guy said I'm legit trashing out gear drop RNG, gear rarity RNG, gear stat RNG, gear stat rolls RNG, gear fail pity RNG, gear upgrade RNG. Basically, you get the point. Like, this whole entire game is just RNG. That's why I made the point. Like, if 2 players start at the same time, like, their gearing could be vastly different just depending on how lucky they get or unlucky they get. It's not a great system because you're not rewarding players for being good and farming the material. You're rewarding them just if they're lucky. Like, that's not fun to me, at least. Like, if I go to upgrade this necklace, I just want to upgrade it. I use the gold, I use the materials. I don't want to worry about, oh man, I might fail this freaking necklace upgrade. And then I wouldn't be surprised in the future if they sell like ways to reduce the fail rate, like how Black Desert does it with their, I think it's called like Valkyrie stats or something. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to sell you, they make the problem and they sell the solution with these RNG fail upgrades. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I'm calling it now. So really just, that's the main issue, 2 main issues with Blade and Soul in my opinion. The boot system, I hate. The RNG for everything I absolutely hate. Those are the two biggest issues that just wear down the game for me and make it almost unplayable. Now, I do want to talk to you about the pros because there are some good parts of Blade Soul Neo. I know that's crazy to say, right? So now some of the pros I do like about Blade Soul Neo, honestly, they kind of trace back to just how original Blade Soul was, where the combat. I still love the combat Blade Soul. It really is the design factor for me of playing the game. Like, if the combat was not good, I would not play it. And unfortunately, like in the beginning, the combat for at least Assassin, I don't know for every class, but for Assassin, it wasn't fun at all. You would constantly lose focus. You couldn't do mainly any of your abilities without just running out of focus. So once I got enough gear, it was fun and I got the right skill books. But again, that's that barrier of entry where if you're a new player, you're entering the game, you're gonna be like, this sucks. Like, I can't even use my abilities. You have to get all these soul badges. Like, I have all the correct soul badges now. You have to get the right skill books to actually use your abilities correctly. Like, now when I play Assassin, it's pretty fun because I have a lot of energy recovery. I can stay in stealth for a while. It's fun, but if I didn't have all these equipment upgrades and everything, it wouldn't be that fun. So the combat is still really enjoyable for me. Another factor I do like is a lot of the open world focus. Like, there's a lot of different field bosses. There's things called the suspicious ritual, which will spawn like somewhere around on the map, and then everyone races towards it, and then they fight this big giant boss. And that's what MMOs I really enjoy, is when like there's a giant boss, and then you have like 50 to 100 plus players, maybe even more if the PC can handle it, and then everyone's just killing the boss. Like, I enjoy that type of content. That's what the MMO content I enjoy. It's just big giant bosses with a ton of players, everyone killing it. So I do like the fact that Blade Soul Neo has added that type of stuff, where in original Blade Soul that wasn't really the focus at all. I like doing all the field bosses. Also, I will recommend joining a clan and having a static group of people that you run content with is very enjoyable. Like, everyone that I run in the clan knows how to use CC, they know how to do mechanics, so when we run certain endgame dungeons, people know what they're doing, so it's more enjoyable. If you have to teach someone how to use a knockdown or a stun to CC the boss, it could be pretty frustrating. So that's a big factor for me for continuing to play, is knowing I have a stat group of people to play with. It just makes running this content much more enjoyable. Another thing I do like about the game that they added is the journal system. So this one right here is actually pretty fun because I actually like going in the open world and completing this stuff. I'm kind of a completist type guy where I like to finish most of the stuff. So I'm still working on some of these, but I got like the most important ones. And what happens is, like, when you do certain content, like let's say I ran this dungeon, I did this one 5 times. I get 2 attack power and 60 HP. And so this is a cool little system where it actually rewards you for doing different content. Or if I kill 40 of these guys in this different area in Misty Woods, I get 60 HP. And all these are little stat bonuses, so it's not the end of the world if you don't have it. But I like that it kind of makes you go out and like do different things in the story or get kills or explore the world. As far as the card system, it's really hit or miss for me. I don't really care about it either way. I did do the crazy farm of the Golden Deva, but after that, I'm not doing it again because to get this card is an under 1% chance. It's like insanely low. I'm not doing it anymore. Honestly, the stats are not insane. Like, you get good HP, you get some crit damage, but it's not make or break it for me. Like, this is a type of content that I just usually ignore. I have no desire to try to get this one. You have to get from RNG. Again, more RNG. The only way to get it is if you get lucky by fusing different boots, which good luck with that. So for me, the card system, I don't really care about. If I can get a card book easy or a card portrait easy, I'll do it. But if not, it's not the end of the world for me. I'm not trying to do that min-maxing. But those are really the main positives I have. Honestly, it's not a lot when I think about it. But for me, I guess I would also add nostalgia. I loved Blade Soul Original, so I'm playing for a little bit of nostalgia, I'm not going to lie. But the combat, nostalgia, having a good stat group to run content makes it more enjoyable. The Explosion Journal is fun. I still love the graphics. Unreal Engine 4 looks good. I still love the world of Blade Soul. So there are pros of the game. Not everything is terrible, but there is a lot of negative bringing down the game. And again, there's little fixes they can do, like a little bit less RNG, adding more skill book systems where like it's more rewarding. Do events where they give you skill books that you can pick whatever book you want. Like, imagine they just do an event where you have to run certain dungeons and then you get a blue steelbook chest and then you could choose whatever skill you want for your class. That would just be really fun and very rewarding. At the core, Blade Soul, I still love it and it's fun to play, but there's a lot of systems that are making it unenjoyable. And the biggest ones are the skill book system, and the RNG is just insane. Another factor I forgot to mention about the steelbook, which makes it even worse, is a lot of people don't even know this because this is like endgame whale type stuff. But if you go right here, let me show my stats right here. So you'll see right here, there's an icon by my heart stab. You want to stat skill boots of your main used skill, because what it does is it gives you increased damage. So for example, for my heart stab, you'll see kind of on the bottom of the class, it says skill grandmaster. Under skill enhancement, it says 3.8%. So right now I'm gaining 3.8% damage on my heart stab because I'm stacking 2 boots. I don't have that many, I just have 2 blue boots. But for example, when I'm like an endgame whale and I want to like really do a lot of DPS, you're going to want to stack a ton of these on your main skill, which means like for these purple skill boots and these legendary ones, when people think, oh, the endgame players who spend a ton of money are going to get the skill boots they want and then they're going to be cheap. That's not going to be the case, because they're going to want 15 of them. They're going to want 10 of them. They're going to want as many as they can get to stack them on that skill to do more DPS. So this is like the ultimate like milking system I've ever seen in an MMO from NCSoft, is to basically say, okay, you got all your skill boots, right? And you bought your steelbook, it costs $50 from the marketplace. Well, now you need to stack it 10 more times if you want to do the most DPS. And there's going to be people who do that, and that's how they make the money off the game. So this is going to be a system that I feel like might make the steelbooks not really drop in price, because people are going to constantly want more and more and more. And here's a really good example. This is like probably the most geared player on the server. And again, no hate to this person. You know, if you want to spend thousands of dollars on BNS NEO, that's fine. Like, you know, they obviously have a lot of money. That's good for them. But this example, like they have like, this is their main skill for Windblade Dancer. You'll see they stacked it. They somehow got this many boots of the purple boot, which is insane to me. I don't even have one purple boot. This guy has 32 enhancement. So their DPS is absolutely insane. Like they're destroying everything, which is, you know, good for them. But this is how the end game will look like for players, where they're going to stack their boots like crazy. Maybe not this level. This is insane. But this is what BNS NEO is doing, where they're adding systems to really milk the players as much as possible, get as much money as they can out of these people. So that's the unfortunate endgame BNS that a lot of people don't even know about, because it's so far in the endgame. But anyways, that's really the video. I just wanted to highlight really the biggest issues of BNS NEO for me, and then also some positives I do have with the game, because obviously I still play it. There is a big patch coming out this week, so if there are improvements to the game, you know, I will obviously cover it, or if there's natives that they added to the game, I'll cover that too. So stay tuned to that. Let me know what you guys think about BNS NEO. What's the biggest issues? I think the biggest ones honestly are the skill book and the RNG. Like, they just need to make it more accessible. There's easy changes they could do to make the game better, and if they don't make good changes, people are not going to stay that long. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in the next one real soon.